Okay, here's the chain of command. Chris Lear is the sports information director that he used to be.
Right.
But he was hired by Gino, and now he's the athletic director.
What a country, eh?
Van Zanik, and Jeff Hathorn's still here working for you when he's one of the best reporters in the Berg, if not the world. So, you guys got some good stuff happening here, I think.
And we got Rob Pratte sitting in the middle of this.
The legend of all legends.
Listen, you have no idea how honored I am to be here, and I am actually having a whole lot of fun doing these interviews and spending time with these guys and over at this beautiful campus. And listen, if I had a kid who could actually do something with a football, I'd force him to come to this school, even if he didn't want to come to this school, because you feel so safe when you're here as far as watching these athletes and students and young and old alike walking around campus on a beautiful evening like tonight. It's a great place, faith-based education. My brother-in-law, John Manzetti, he's gone on to do pretty well for himself. Joe Hogan, he's gone on to do pretty well for himself.
Grad too.
My sister Renee, she went on, well, after she left her freshman year to marry John, she went on to do very well. And then she went to La Roche and got her education finished. So this is really home based. This is what home cooking is about. And this is a great place for you to further your education and a great place to work and afford 4 daughters as you and Cheryl have. So it's been a good run.
Yeah, it's been a good run. We're still trying to run, though. We're still in the process of running.
Listen, but you got to, listen, explain to him. You got to give yourself a little bit of credit.
Rob.
You've been here how many years? 25 years. Gene Sullivan was the last. I say do his radio show many years ago. All I know is you do so much with what you have, and I do believe things are going to start going. The only problem is you're your own worst enemy.
Well, here's the issue.
When you're in leadership. Here's the issue. We are so blessed, Rob, and you hit the nail on the head. Gino's been here for 25 years as the head coach. He was here prior to that as well. Of course, as a student, played for Coach Sullivan, was here as assistant coach, went down to Georgia Tech, did his graduate work, graduated, came back to Geneva as an assistant.
Thing.
Well,
he's a pit guy.
Don Nealon.
I'm not a WVU guy.
He's a pit guy.
But nonetheless.
He should be. They're playing Georgia Tech.
We are so blessed. There's so much that goes into being a coach at Geneva College, more so than the wins and losses, although that is important. Gino's program, just as much as I am, we want to win games, no doubt. Mm-hmm. But there's so much that goes into it with these kids and the way he mentors these guys when they get here. When we lose recruits, it's sad for us, not because they can help us on the field, but because we lose them for 4 years and what they can do in their lives. And that's the bottom line. And we seem to go to other places in the PAC, and they don't get the same support they would get here. And that makes us sad.
And I'll tell you, a lot of the kids that graduate do some amazing things. So forget about athletics. What they're doing in the classroom really works. Okay, are you ready to talk a little Steelers football?
Sure.
All right, Chris, where are we at time-wise? You can say something.
2:48.
Okay, we're in good shape. Here we go. It's the Steelers taking on the Chicago Bears. Boy, how times have changed. I actually have notes now.
Yes, I remember you.
Well, that's because you took me from show to show to show to show, and Tad McElwee just kept cracking the whip. All right, here we go. Pittsburgh at Chicago, Sunday, 11 a.m. Of course, we break it all down. Coos Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. Antonio Brown leading the league in receiving yards in the first 2 weeks. So you got Cal Fuller and Marcus Cooper. I have no idea who they are, but I saw this in the Bleachers Report today. That they just can't slow this guy down. So how do you defend Antonio Brown?
You don't. I mean, he's going to get his. I mean, he's going to get his 8 to 10 catches. He's going to get his 100 yards, and you just hope to contain the rest of them. And what they've done the first couple weeks against the Steelers is they've controlled Le'Veon Bell. And the rust, I think, is coming off. I think he's going to be better and better each week after week after week. But you can't stop Antonio Brown. They've tried to double team him, they've triple teamed him. He's going to get his catches. But if you're defending them, you got to stop the other people. And so far, really, they've done that with Pittsburgh. Although they've won the first 2 games, it doesn't really feel like they've won the first 2 games, right?
No, and people keep saying, boy, that offense.
Yeah.
Give them a break. It's only the first 2 weeks.
See where I'm sitting right now with 2 fans, okay? As a coach, I'm telling you.
I was going to get you to do some coaching in a minute.
They're 2-0.
Take it.
Okay? And you don't like them because they've won ugly.
Oh, I like him. That's not me. He said that.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying, they're 2-0, okay? So whatever they're doing right now is working. Now, as far as Bell goes, that kid's going to get better.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, Martavius Bryant back in the mix is going to take a lot of pressure off of AB, so he's going to get a lot more opportunities. But how about Jesse James out of Penn State? No one gave the kid any credit except Ted Arnaud, who's been singing his praises for the longest time. This kid has really stepped up and played good football.
All he does is score touchdowns, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you throw him in the red zone, he scores touchdowns. I think the McDonald guy is going to be a great acquisition for them down the line. I mean, I think he's going to be a big product for them offensively. But I think James he's become like a security blanket for Ben down there. And again, they're defending Antonio Brown. They're not going to let him get those yards down in the red zone. And so he just provides another option. You can't cover everybody, right? Someone's going to be available. And Ben, as long as they give him time to pick and choose and go through his progression, he's going to find somebody.
I thought the Browns had a great scheme. I don't know if too many people looked at this, but they had their free safety playing about 15 to 20 yards deep. and it was going to take. They were just going to take away basically nickel and dime us, but you're not getting a big ball, and that's exactly what happened in the first week. Last week, playing at home, the Steelers kind of put it together.
All right, Bears defense on the field way too long. And, the Steelers with their up-tempo offense getting a whole lot better at that. So if they get them up in the game late, they're going to really be moving them and could get them back on their heels. So the Bears defense has to be prepared for a little bit of everything, but they got to try to get in and out as quickly as they can.
No question. Unseasonably warm, too, this weekend, right? I mean, across the league in this part of the country, it's going to be hot. The Steelers maintain possession of the ball, and I think because the weather's going to be what it is, I think Pittsburgh really breaks out offensively.
All right, speaking of the Bears, you were talking about coverage with the Browns. The Bears' coverage has to be a whole lot tighter. Pass rush needs to get better. And here's a little name out of the past for you Steeler fans. Marcus Wheaton broke his finger in August. He is now a member of the Bears, could make his debut Sunday. He was a third-round pick 2013. We talk a lot about the guys with the Steelers, but they were just been saturated with great talent. This kid is the real deal.
Yeah, he is. I mean, there's no question. And you can only have so many guys to get the ball, right? And so Pittsburgh had to make some decisions financially, and they made that choice. But they're going to have to watch this weekend for sure.
What do you do? And listen, I know you'd like to be there, but when you have so much talent and everybody wants to get their hands on the ball, whether it's a running back or wide receiver, how does a coach go through that process as far as saying, this is how we're going to do it?
Well, if you have people in the locker room that don't want the ball, then you got a problem. I mean, offensively, you want those kinds of people. You want them asking for the football. One of the answers is go to the triple option. Because, quite frankly,
everybody gets their hands on a ball.
Well, maybe. I don't make the decision on who's getting the ball. The defense is making a decision, and we're reading that. But in the NFL, it's a whole different deal. Every one of those guys wants the ball. There's no question about it. And I honestly think that Haley is pretty good at what he does. I really do.
All right, injuries to Cameron Meredith and Kevin White have hurt the Bears' deep threat, and many believe that Mike Glennon is the big reason why there's a problem there. Dave Wanstadt, the legendary Pitt coach, went to Baldwin High School, and of course a Pitt player, coached for Chicago at one time, and he's now working in the Chicago media. Watching a little video on him earlier today. Always loved Dave Wanstadt talking about Mitch Trubisky. When do you play him? He said, look, you play him now, you're going to lose. You'll take your lumps. But John Fox wants to win. He wants to do something for the fans. So you got to kind of weigh the option here. What do you do? Stick him in there to get beat up? Or do you let him do a lot of reps in practice? And when he gets a chance, maybe the Bears actually are doing a lot more good than bad. And he'll get a bit of a ride from that confidence. And he'll actually become a successful quarterback as opposed to actually getting destroyed early on to where once it happens, maybe he or some rookies have done, never get a chance to get back to that level.
John Fox, he's won a couple places, right?
Yeah.
Where's he won?
Denver?
Yeah. Who do you have?
Okay.
All right. And he won down in Carolina, right?
Right.
Right now, he doesn't have the same X and O's that the other people have.
Mm-mm.
That Trubisky kid, the North Carolina kid, that kid's a real deal. But put him on the field, and I think what the Browns are doing with their kids is the right thing. Put him on the field, let it go through, go through the process, and eventually he's going to be a premier quarterback.
But not only Deshaun Kaiser, but you also have it happening in Houston with Watson, kid out of Clemson. I mean, these athletes are so good today.
Well, we deal with this at our level as well. We're talking about a freshman coming in who's ultra talented. You have a kid that's started for 2 or 3 years. He's a junior or a senior, and now you have a dilemma as a coach. What do? Do you get this kid some reps? How do you get him out there? You want him in game action for sure. Maybe he makes your team better, but there is something about loyalty too. And a kid that's gone to war with you for a couple of years, you give him the opportunity, and then if he works his way off the field, he works his way off the field.
Real quick, T.J. Watt out of Wisconsin, off to a breakout season, and he gets a groin injury, so he may not be there. But Bud Dupree, Anthony Chickillo, look, Vance Williams actually got a sack last week. We know what James Harrison can do, and you got Ryan Shazier. How good are these linebackers?
Really good. And Harrison didn't play one snap last week. He played 4 snaps in week 1, not one snap, even with T.J. Watt being out. So if that doesn't tell you all you need to know about the talent level that they have with these young kids, it's pretty impressive.
Sir?
I think the Steelers are going to, be one of the best 3 teams in the NFL when it's all said and done.
In the AFC for sure.
Well, there's no question, and they got to take care of business. Chicago.
Folks, we love the Golden Tornadoes, and we love this campus in Beaver Falls. Van Zanik, who's the athletic director, and he, of course, Gino DeMarco, Chris Lear, sports information director, and to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.